And my mother doesn't go to bed at 7 o'clock in the evening. Do you understand? You do not turn the television off. You do not bereft her from any form of entertainment. The drugs. When Dr. Jenny Davidson left, my mother's been put on stronger drugs. I can hear it in her voice. And also she said that different ones. Your staff tend to lie, and they also tend to talk through you. That's why I ended up doing the videos. Why every call was 10 minutes. How can you hear anything in life when you're talking through someone? You can't. Okay? Got to stop with the boy buggery. I mean it. My mother's 80, 83. She doesn't deserve it. And of course, we're in week 2 now. Nicole hasn't signed the forms for my mum's release. So, come on, accusing me of some conspiracy? Come on, you're not signing forms. You're not giving her the proper food. You're making it so that she's bedridden. Don't tell me Dr. Jenny Davidson didn't neglect. You know, like, how dare you think that you can that you can gang up on my mother? So she gets really badly treated, and then you gang up on her, and then you think you can gang up on me instead of going, you know what? Oh my God, we need to go through all the other patients, see who else has been neglected. My mum said right from the beginning, Dr. Peg gave her 2 rounds of shock treatment. She woke up to him standing over her, and from that moment on, she was overdrugged. She went with a witness and she said, please take me off these drugs. Her eyes were like saucers, and he said, 2 weeks, I'll give you 2, try it for another 2 weeks. In week 6, without further appointment, she went crazy. It was the drugs. And you should be reporting him. Man will never work again. It's only you that thinks you've got away with it because of the boy buggery thing. You know, oh, well, it keeps going on. What's the point in saying anything about it? Well, the ones that do speak out don't hand their children over to the priest again. Do you understand that? So that generational thing has stopped. Their wives are happy as their children. It's got to stop. You haven't, every complaint I've done, you've just ignored it. And it wasn't until the videos that you actually did something about it. And what did you do? You went in and bullied Mum. You then put her on higher drugs. You did nothing that I asked you to do for her own sake. And this adds to the boy buggery, doesn't it? It really does. You need to sort this out today. Her vertebrae gets... You need to sort this out today. Today. Do you understand? Not one more second does that woman get hurt. And not one more second are you the cause of it. I'm speaking to journalists. You do know that. So the reality was, Nicole Raj, manager of your establishment, made it that my mother didn't chase up the hearing aid, that was me, made it that my mother is bedridden, then wouldn't allow her any form of communication when she is alone there. No one visits her, no one rings her, do they? It's all me. The guardianship have been incredibly cruel. Their argument that I was a terrible person and I couldn't look after her, well, England could look after her, couldn't they? And I could go and visit, and at least she'd have some form of communication. You know, as soon as Dr. Pake did that shock treatment, my mother went into overdrive. She was petrified that he'd do it to me, because that's what abuse does. Any form of attack, it immediately it alters you forever. It fears you forever. But you know this, you're from the Catholic world, huge amount of abuse. So Nicole then storms into my mother's room and with a witness. And my mother can't even get out of bed. My mother can't run away. My mother can't turn her back. My mother can't say, please, I don't feel well today. She can't do anything. She then in turn has to be angry to her only living relative who rings, who's the only person that rings. Nicole is a manager. She's quite young, isn't she? So she knew exactly what her words would do. And if she didn't know what she's doing being a manager, what she should have done is she should have contacted me. But the simple fact is she had that tantrum, no letters, no paperwork has been signed. And so I'm assuming you've all got together and said, well, get her. Just like when you, with the hospital, oh, the big bad daughter's ringing, make sure she doesn't speak to her mother. You know, well, that was a huge amount of neglect there, wasn't there, why she ended up in hospital? Because your staff are telling your people, just hug out the pain. You need to know how serious this is. And this all needs to be stopped, okay? Get the paperwork signed. Don't hurt my mother another second. What Nicole actually did was she stormed into my... We'll let her walk. We'll let her doing a sunny, breezy walk. She walks into Mum's room with a witness. Clearly, so she's bullying her witness and tells Mum, because of my complaints, Dr. Jenny Davidson has resigned, which she should have done. Why didn't Dr. Jenny Davidson get a replacement doctor before she resigned? And then told Mum she wasn't going to have a doctor for 6 weeks. Imagine if you're 83 and you've gone through shock treatments, you've gone through over-drugging, all you need is your vertebrae replaced and you're bedridden. And then the manager, who's supposed to be light and supposed to be there for you, comes in and says, because of your daughter complaining about the aforementioned. I mean, what am I actually complaining about? You need to acknowledge, what am I complaining about? Because these are really serious neglect. And then says, you're not going to get a doctor. What do you think that did to my poor mother? Oh, and then changed her drugs. Nicole has hid from me, which meant from that moment on, I haven't been able to video my mum. So I haven't been able to see the marks. Because let's face it, if the manager is storming around, getting witnesses, it's, you know, the simple fact is Dr. Jenny Davidson should never have had never taken on the job, and what she should have done is she should have contacted the authorities immediately. But you all allowed this to happen, and you're all bullying, all of you. No, absolutely not. I did say I've helped put predators away. I do know predators. I know their tone of voice. I know how they walk. I know how they talk. They can be women. They use a lot of women to do it. Their voice is normally very sweet to get you in. And how do you think Maxwell did her spiel? You think that she was horrible? No, she pretended to be your best friend, like Nicole did to me. And nothing changed. And Nicole still hasn't signed the paperwork. So, come on, get your shit together. You're hurting my mother. That's not your job.